Bob goes into the public bathroom and sees this guy standing next to the urinal. The guy has no arms. As Bob's standing there, taking care of business, he wonders to himself how the poor guy is going to take a leak. Bob finishes and starts to leave when the man asks Bob to help him out. Being a kind soul, Bob says, okay, I'll help you." The man asks, "Can you unzip my zipper?" Bob says, "Okay." Then the man says, "Can you pull it out for me?" Bob replies, yeah, okay." Bob pulls it out and it has all kinds of mold, red rashes, and scabs all over it, and it smells dreadful. Then the guy asks Bob to point it for him, which Bob does. Bob then shakes it, puts it back in and zips it up. The guy tells Bob, "Thanks, I really appreciate it." Bob says, "No problem, but what the hell's wrong with your prick?" The guy pulls his arms out of his shirt and says, "I don't know, but I'm not touching it." An old couple had been married for 50 years. They were sitting at the breakfast table one morning when the old gentleman said to his wife, "Just think, we've been married for 50 years. "Yeah," she replied. "Just think, 50 years ago we were sitting here at this breakfast table together." "I know," the old man said, "but we were probably sitting here stark naked 50 years ago." "Well," Granny snickered, "what do you say? Should we strip?" So the two stripped to the buff and sat down at the table. "You know, honey," the little old lady said, "my nipples are as hot for you today as they were 50 years ago." "I wouldn't be surprised," replied Gramps. "One's in your coffee and the other is in your porridge." Tony had been feeling guilty all day long. No matter how much he tried to forget about it, he couldn't. The guilt and sense of shame was overwhelming, but every once in a while he'd hear that soothing voice trying to reassure him, "Tony, don't worry about it. You're not the first surgeon to sleep with one of your patients and you won't be the last. And you're single. So just let it go." But invariably the other voice would bring him back to reality. "Tony, you're a veterinary surgeon." Two men were having lunch at their favorite restaurant when they noticed a young woman at the next table having trouble breathing. One of the men got up, walked over to her table, took her face in his hands, and said, "Can you swallow?" She shook her head. "No." "Can you breathe?" Again she shakes her head. "No." The man grabs her around the waist with one of his hands, turns her over, pulls up her skirt, pulls down her panties and licks her bum. Of course the young woman was so shocked that she coughed, causing the food to dislodge. The man pulls up her panties, pulls down her skirt, turns her right side up, and returns to his seat. His companion is sitting there stunned. "I have never seen anything like that in my whole life," he says to his friend. "Well, I'll tell you, that hind lick maneuver works every time."